Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Brian Hookeriza, and I'm the host for this session. I'm a support engineer here at Infinite Reality, and I focus on supporting creators and developers who build spaces and worlds using IR Studio. And today, what we'll be talking about is building a theater in IR Studio. What is an immersive theater? What are the use cases for building one? And these are just a few of the questions that we'll be covering and more. And who better to cover this topic than perfect timing? Today's expert joining us again is Nima Zegami, our Vice President of Product here at Infinite Reality. Nima is a technologist with a deep background in virtual and augmented reality, as well as applied artificial intelligence. Throughout his career, Nima has helped build consumer tech that enables new experiences and enhances communication and connection in everyday life. We are thrilled to have him here again with us today. Nima, welcome back.
Thanks, Brian. It's good to be back. I love doing these webinars with you and getting to hang out with you and all of our amazing, incredible creators.
Yeah, same with you. I love hearing the insight you have among all the different topics that we've brought up so far. Hey, well, let's just dive right into it. What exactly to you is an immersive theater?
So obviously that's a really deep and complex question. There's a lot of ways to talk about it, but I think probably the best one is kind of describing what you're already used to. So you're probably used to going to a theater in real life. You and your family, your friends, and sometimes strangers go into a dark room, and there's a single screen where you can watch a video together, which is usually a movie. There's also private theaters in people's homes where you can watch something privately without strangers joining you, right? On top of that, everyone already knows what it's like to watch video on a platform like Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus on various devices. It's often hard for you to synchronize that experience between different devices. Maybe your friend has an Android phone or like a Windows computer, and you have an iPhone and a Mac. But we have a clear solution to that. It's our immersive theater style experience. It's an immersive theater that is built in the virtual world and built using the tools in Infinite Reality Studio. This virtual space has a shared video screen. You and your friends, or really anyone you choose to invite, or anyone who has access to your link, can join together for a synchronized co-viewing experience, just like a movie theater in real life, but in the virtual world. Except so this movie theater is not bound by co-location, distance, language, borders, or anything else. It's just your imagination and who you want to share it with. And that's really kind of the core of what an immersive theater is.
All right. So, with that said, what would be some of the use cases somebody like a builder or creator would want to build an immersive theater experience, for instance?
So there's a few common cases. So maybe you're going to want to share a supercut of your trip to Hawaii privately with some of your friends. And maybe you want all of them to come together with you to watch it, so you can kind of like talk through it with them. Maybe you're a streamer and you want to give your fans a place to hang out and watch your stream together. Maybe you want to create a premiere for your new indie short film and have your friends and family view it before you submit it to a festival. Maybe you want to review the new video commercial that your agency built. Maybe you want to get feedback on that before you, go real time with it. And all these are really great reasons to make an immersive theater space in Infinite Reality Studio.
All right. So let's say I wanted to build maybe a Roman amphitheater for a performance of Verdi's Otello, or how would I do that? Or maybe like even a modern concert for Taylor Swift. What tools would I have available to me to be able to build these?
Yeah, so I'm really glad you asked that. Infinite Reality Studio makes that easy, makes it a breeze. So I'm going to show you our new wizard and some of our templates, and it's going to show you how to get from zero to hero really, really quick. So I'm going to show what our kind of core experience is with our dashboard, and then go from there. So this is obviously my IR Studio dashboard. It lets me view all my different projects. I have some projects set up already for people to see over here. But what we're going to do is we're going to just add a new scene. And right here, it's going to give you a couple of options. So option number one, so this is our wizard. So this has launched our wizard now. It's going to have an option to assist me with creating an IR world, or don't assist me, which creates a blank scene. So obviously we're going to say assist me with creating an IR world. So I click on this one, and now it pops open, and it's going to load our full wizard world creation template experience. So it's going to have me select a template first. So I get to just kind of scroll through and try to find a template that I like. I can, click on one and see how it looks inside my scene. These all look pretty cool. Store demos. And then let's try Dark Side. So Dark Side is this kind of floating sci-fi space station sort of thing. We can fly into it. And as you can see, this is sort of like, it's got that like high-tech nightclub vibe to it. It's a pretty cool space, and I feel like there's a lot of potential here to make this a really cool futuristic looking theater for me and a few of my friends. Maybe we want to watch some game clips. Maybe I just want to show them a new experience that I'm building inside of our studio, like a new game or something. So let's just go with this one. I'm going to hit next, and then you choose the backdrop. So the backdrop, what it's going to do is it's going to basically change the skybox out. And that's also going to affect the lighting inside the experience. So it's already pretty dark, and I like that. But let's pick like a cool like nighttime scene. Maybe like, yeah, like this generic nighttime scene looks pretty cool. Let's click on that and have it switch over. There we go. Now that looks really sick if you
That's
ask me.
beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, so let's go here. And now once we have it ready there, we're going to go to edit it in Studio. So it's going to load up the IR Studio editor. And once it's good to go, I will begin creating. So I'm going to switch to assets over here. Let me zoom on in over there. So to zoom pretty quickly, all you got to do is hold shift, and it makes your camera move faster. I want to have a nice big open space right there, so people can come down the stairs and get right into the experience. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go to my kits over here. So you go to, this is under asset, then you go to model, then you go to kits. And because I want to have a cool sci-fi scene, I'm going to click sci-fi right here. And we are going to look for an asset that is going to work well for this. Let's say chair, caps lock. That's great. So we're going to take this chair right here, and I'm just going to drag this right into the IR Studio experience. I'm going to give it a second to load. Perfect, easy. And let me say I'm going to put in like eight of these chairs. That seems like a good number. Put that one right there, that one right there. Make it more of kind of like a private theater for me and my friends rather than like a huge theater or anything like that. So now I'm gonna go up top here and try to align all of them. So obviously I've already got translate pulled up right there. I'm gonna move this one over here and this one kind of over there, and maybe I'll realign this one. And then this one that way. And then let's get these ones kind of more in line. Once we have them mostly in line, now we're actually going to switch to our rotate gizmo, and we're going to begin the rotations. Boom. Let me make sure I'm rotating on the right axis real quick. Yes, I was. Okay, so we're going to have them all facing forward. As you can see, it's super easy to just manipulate the objects and make them do the exact thing that you want them to do. And let's move this like that. Just do this for all of the objects. And then now they're all facing the same direction. I'm going to reorganize them one more time, which is, again, of course, super easy. So now we've got translate, and we're going to move these over here and over there. Move this one a little bit further back, just so that everything is all in a straight line. Maybe we'll keep these a little bit closer, actually. There we go. And there, and see, super easy. This one right there, and this one there. Rotate this one so it's perfectly aligned there. Rotate that one so it's perfectly aligned, and that one. Mm, looks pretty good, but let's see. Where am I missing the alignment? Here we go. This one's going to move a little bit there. Perfect. Okay, this looks pretty good. And then maybe just one last little bit of movement here. This one there and back one. I put it on an angle, so we actually, one of the things you can do is you can reduce the translation of the snap. So if I do this, now you actually have the ability to make really micro movements to really align everything. This is super useful if the snaps that you're getting aren't exactly as fine-tuned as you want them. And sometimes when you're creating things, you just want to like eyeball it. You want something that feels right, even if it mathematically doesn't exactly 100% line up. You want they call it visual weight. You want the visual weight of everything to feel very balanced. So here we go. I think I'm gonna move this one slightly more this way to really give it that good visual weight. Great. Now everything looks really aligned to me. So the next step is going to be we basically drop in a asset, like a video asset, and then we can have that one be the core of our experience. I'm going to go to our files and see if I've got a good asset ready to go. Go to my public folder, and here we've got our platform video. I'm going to drag it in, and there we go. It's in the scene now. I'm going to zoom in over here and select this video on this side over here. Perfect. And then I'm going to drag it up and rotate it to face us. I think it's actually perfect. Turn it that way. And then we're going to scale this up. So an easy way to do that is we're going to take the transform the scale over here, and let's make it 5. And then not the Z, we'll take the Y and make this one 5 as well. So that looks pretty good, but what if I made it even bigger? Yeah, maybe 10's too much. We'll say 8. 8 and 5 looks pretty good to me. Great. And now we're just going to rotate it again a little bit and then change the translation so that it is in the exact spot that we want it to be. Perfect. So now we've got this incredible scene, and I'm going to test it out real quick. We hit the preview button. It's going to load my avatar. Great. So as you can see, we've got these chairs set up over here. You and your friends can jump into it. And then you got this beautiful theater set up right there. Let me go ahead and stop the preview. And then what we're going to do is, for one final little touch of flair, as you can see, this is kind of the base platform. What we're going to do is we're going to see if there's a good velour asset that we can use to kind of really tighten this whole thing up. I kind of like this one. It's the sci-fi floor large 6. Is there anything else that looks good to me? No, I kind of like this one. I like that it's blue all over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find the platform asset, which is right there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach it to the platform asset. Great. And now it's right there. And what you can do is you can find this asset right underneath there. And we're going to adjust the transform of this one and make it bigger in that direction and make it bigger in that direction. Great. Now it's filling up our whole space. And so we have a beautiful floor. And now our space is good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and save the scene over here. It's going to go ahead and save. Super easy. This is the first time saving, sometimes it takes a little while, but ultimately, once you have already saved the scene at least once, saving is a breeze. And then after that's done, you just go over here to publish, and you're able to add a name. choose the max number of users. Since we've got 8 chairs, I'm going to say 8 users so that every person has a beautiful seat. And then go ahead and publish it. I actually have a version of this scene already published. So we are going to jump on over here, and it's going to go ahead and load the scene so everyone can see what the experience is like. Perfect. So it's still loading some of the assets in the back, like the rest of the temple, but basically you've got that beautiful scene right there. You got that skybox, amazing. And here you can obviously pull up your account. You can ensure that you're logged in. Now we've got the rest of the scene good to go. You can share it with your friends really easily by just hitting the share button. This gives you the link. It also gives you a QR code you can share with them. Super easy to get your friends into the space, make the whole thing go full screen. Hopefully you can see it. And then now you've got this beautiful space. And if you, for whatever reason, don't want to go sit in the chair, you and your friends can hop up here and you still have a perfect view of your theater space, fully multiplayer, so easy to use, so easy to create. Infinite Reality Studio just makes the whole thing a snap. And you saw it. You guys were right here for the whole thing. You now have a fully multiplayer virtual world hosting a video of your choice that you and your friends can join and hang out and experience together in less than 10 minutes. This is published on the web, ready to go. It's really that easy. There's no trick to it. That's Infinite Reality Studio.
Yeah, Nima, no, that was fantastic. Being able to see you do this from start to finish in the short amount of time that we've been running this, I mean, it's I think it's an understatement to say that this is, next level stuff, because again, getting to a point where you're able to now just share this live and show off your awesome dance moves to other people that join. I mean, I think that can't be overhyped enough. With that
I
said,
agree.
in your mind, aside from all the other elements that you've just placed into the scene, seats, screen, what are some other important elements you think contribute to making a pretty good theater space in general?
Yeah. So obviously, you have to have the right vibe for whatever you're going to be showing off. Like so for us, we're showing off. This is like Infinite Reality Studios kind of like highlight reel. That's a pretty sci-fi product, right? A product that lets you just build infinite worlds. So because of that, creating a sci-fi virtual theater that you can hang out in makes perfect sense. But you got to make sure the vibe matches the content that you're showing off, right? You don't want to have something that's like super disjointed. For example, if you're showing off like a fantasy short film that you and your friends made, you probably don't want a sci-fi scene like this, right? But the other one is, I mean, the core of it is not, our technology, and it's not the virtual world here. It's your content, right? The video that you're showing off is the main thing that you're using our technology to kind of build around. And so content is king. So the most important thing is you need to make sure you got your great piece of hero content. That is the thing that the whole space exists for, is to show off that content. So that's kind of the critical piece.
Okay, now since this is a theater space, sound is a really important aspect of the whole thing. So, to you, how does sound work when you build an immersive theater experience? Are there any, let's say, tricks that I would need to know to, really drive home the experience for my visitors?
Yeah, so I don't know. Is the sound from the experience being shared? I'm not totally sure, but the sound for me is playing from the video, and it booms throughout your entire space. So no matter whether I'm all the way up here or whether I'm down there, I'm hearing the video from. Sorry, I'm hearing the sound from the video playing to me. So it booms throughout the space by default. You can change that and make it spatial if you want, so that it gets louder as your characters get closer. And you can also add additional spatial elements. So you can add elements that will make it so that, you have spatial audio firing from different directions at different times, maybe synchronize the parts of the video if you'd like that. That's a lot more useful once if you're dealing with users that are using VR headsets, because it gets fully spatialized. So you move, you turn your head, and you get the sound from different directions. But yeah, we have basically by default audio just kind of works. You get the high quality audio everywhere. But then you also have the ability to change that up and add additional spatial audio elements if that's something that you prefer.
Yeah, on my end, I can't hear the audio, so it might be like a desktop audio issue. But yeah, I've seen
Yep.
this exact video before, and so yeah, once it does play, you can hear it throughout. the entire theater. Okay, so with that
Totally.
said, um, let's say I build this theater out and I feel like it's a good place, and I want to get people, friends, family, my guests or visitors to kind of hop in on, let's say, on a Saturday at 7 p.m. How would I get them to now enjoy the space with me?
Yeah, so I mean, sharing the space is super easy. You can share the link wherever you want to get people to join. Like, in you add this in a calendar invite. Put this in a calendar invite if you want. It's like a permanent link. So once you've published it, that link is available from your IR Studio editor and makes it super easy for you to share that. Create the calendar if you want. You can add it on a mailing list. Share it on social media. You can even keep it linked in a link tree if you have that or any other link aggregator. You can put it in the description of a YouTube video. You can post the link to Reddit. And then, within the IR space, if you just tap the share button, you get this whole thing. So someone can also scan the QR code, copy the link, send an email. All that's just built into the tool. So, it's really easy to get your friends to jump in. And, if you want your friends to be there by 7, just send them the link at 6:59. If they click it, they're in.
Yeah, again, showing the strength of the IR engine, which is how quickly you could just put something together and share out live for people to jump in right away is it's still it blows my mind. So again, thank you for walking through building this live. This is definitely a theater that I would like to go to one day in the real life if possible. Speaking of which, we'll start fielding questions from the audience, and I have a set of questions here that I'll surface first. Number one, so aside from my personal take, which I think this space you just built was really cool, what other cool theater spaces have you either built or seen yourself?
Well, this is really early days, so I think anyone who builds something really cool is probably going to be one of the coolest things we've seen so far. But I built a video space that showed off a trailer to an upcoming animated movie that I was really jazzed about. So that was
Mm.
pretty cool. It was in one of our we have kind of like this the Sky Mall default scene. It's going to be available with our templates. That's pretty cool. And so you're just kind of like in this city in the clouds, and I built it at like the edge of this like pier, like a kind of
Mm.
like a skyship pier, and you just have the floating screen out in front of you, and then you and your friends can just hang out on the edge of the pier and just watch that. So yeah, I say that's probably the coolest one I've seen so far. But I really hope someone outdoes me and makes something super cool soon.
Yeah, and again, with IR Studio being accessible to everybody now, we would love to see that to everybody in the audience. We'd love to see you build an awesome theater space, and be sure to share that out with us because again, this is just early days, as Nima had mentioned. So we'd love to see our minds being blown. Um, okay, next question. So, what kind of use case do you think is most useful for a theater space in the world today? Like, what would be a few reasons why somebody would want to build a theater space?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I touched on that a little bit, but I'd say kind of the two really big ones that come to mind for me are if you're like an influencer or some other person with kind of like a following, and you want to create kind of a culture around the content that you're building so that people who are fans of you can kind of hang out together and view that and get to know each other. Because as I'm sure you know, whenever you build a space in IR Studio, the whole thing is social and multiplayer, right?
Mm.
You can voice chat, text chat, video chat with other people, even. And so, if you create this kind of space for people to hang out in, they're going to get to know each other. They're going to start chatting and building that greater sense of community. And I think that's pretty killer. That's a really great use case. And then the other one I would say is if you're someone who's like trying to like teach people something. So if you whether you are a karate instructor or a yoga instructor or you're trying to teach people calculus or whatever it is, the thing that you're trying to teach people, you can make a space with one or more courses, and you can teach the course in there live or leave the space running and on loop so that people can go kind of teach themselves. You can create like one
Mm.
scene for each of the lessons. People can show up with other people, learn together, And then of course, if you're there, you can be, guiding them through it as the video progresses. You can just kind of be like, oh, this is what you want to do, et cetera. Do you have any questions? And kind of have that dynamic and engaging kind of experience that you're not going to get if you just post the video and put it on YouTube. This is more synchronous. It's more hands-on. And so if you want to create a space, and like if you're like a yoga instructor, for example, it's much better than Zoom. It's much better than just putting it on YouTube. It's the kind of quality where you could definitely charge a premium for the kinds of people who would come into that space and want that kind of hands-on learning experience.
True, and to kind of expand on that, I find the classroom use case compelling because you could easily have different theaters, if you will, for a classroom topic that's covering, let's say, the jungle. So you'll actually be within a jungle environment. Whereas, let's say you go to an astronomy class, now you're among the stars. Like, I think that is a really compelling use case. So yeah, that's a great idea. Next question. So I know we touched on this a little bit, but what other best practices do you like to keep in mind when building specifically a theater space?
You want to make sure that there's enough viewpoints so people don't block each other's view. It's just like a real theater, like real theaters in real life. They have the seats stack on top of each other backwards so that you're not, the person in front of you is not blocking your view. You're going to want to ensure that it's easy to find the theater space, like find the video within your world. Like it depends on if your world is just a theater space or if there's an immersive theater as just one part of your world, but you want people to be able to find it. Otherwise, there's no point in having it if people can't find it and go to it. You're going to want to see if it makes more sense to have the video play on a trigger, like if someone walks through the door, that maybe starts the video, or if you want to just be playing on loop nonstop, depending on what the content is and what the world, what the kind of goal of the world is, you might want to do things a little differently. And then finally, yeah, try to find interesting kind of places for people to watch from. So, sitting in the chairs makes sense, but as you saw in the sci-fi world, now you also have like this like multiple levels above where you can still see the video screen perfectly. So you can kind of go up the stairs and chill there. And maybe people are going to want to have go have like a private conversation while still watching the video. Basically, create those kind of interesting ways to watch the video that aren't just sitting there and watching the video. Because people are doing that. That's kind of the same as just watching a YouTube video somewhere else. And though some people might want to do that, they might want to sit down and watch for a while, then go do something else. You want to create opportunities for them to do things in a more unique and specialized way that's only possible using infinite reality technology as opposed to the existing ones.
One other question we have. If I were to say place this theater space within my current lounge scene, could I still add the seats and elements inside, or do I need to have something to transport the user from my main space into its own space?
Well, it depends. I guess the answer is both. You can just do it however you want. You could either make it so that the user can just walk in and go hang out in the theater space, or you can make it so they teleport in. You can do whatever you want. You can make the spawn point the chair, so they just appear in the chair as soon as they load into the space. You have all the options for whatever you want to do and for whatever's right for your user.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for today's session. Thank you, Nima, again for covering the concepts, best practices, and tips around building theaters in our studio. Additionally, my team, Creator Success, hosts many opportunities for creators who might need some support or maybe just a nudge in the right direction to build out the best version of your spaces. My team also hosts what we call creator check-ins, which are one-on-one sessions where we get to chat with you about anything that might be blocking you with your spaces. So if you also have any feedback about our studio, or if you actually want feedback on the spaces that you build, come register for a 30-minute session with us. Okay, everyone, thank you again for coming to one of our other live sessions. To everyone here, we'd love to see what you all build with our studio. So take care and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.